What is up, everybody? Cornucopia of Craziness back here again, and welcome to Raw is Cornucopia. There wasn't many positive things about this Raw, as with any Raw broadcast that is before a podcast on the WWE Network. Usually, what I notice about the Raws before a podcast is that they're usually very boring, they have filler matches, and sometimes they really suck. Really, really bad. And this one was no exception. This Raw was just meh. And this really shows why some shows need Daniel Bryan on it. And it was a sad thing that he retired because this is what we got this week. Still no Undertaker, too. First of all, let's talk about what was good about the show. I'm not going to dwell much on the Dean Ambrose Brock Lesnar thing this time because I've been talking about it for the past 2 weeks. I'm going to say the same stuff that I've been saying. But what I am going to talk about is what I was surprised about that night. I was surprised that I kind of liked the Brie Bella and Charlotte promo. I really did. I mean, like, it added some more psychology between the two characters instead of just like, oh, I'm feuding with you to hold you over until WrestleMania for a championship match. There's now a concrete storyline here. They're bringing up Daniel Bryan being out and Charlotte telling Brie Bella that she should be home taking care of him. So that adds to the personality of the feud. It's become very, very powerful. But there are, as I said before, this show had a lot of negatives. A lot of negatives. First of all, the Mark Henry match between Mark Henry and Big E. It was as bad of a match as you can get between these two guys. Like, it was slow. It was everything I don't like about Mark Henry now. It was slow, it was lumbering, it was boring, it was way too short. I mean, if a match like that is that boring, I don't want it to be I don't want it to be long, I want it to be short, but like, and plus they had a really bad finish with like Mark Henry injuring his ribs from a Big E splash. Mark Henry should just retire, honestly. Because I understand that he made many contributions to the business, but he's getting old. His matches are getting slow. Like, nobody cares what he's doing anymore. He's just, like, 1 week he's a heel and 1 week he's a face. Like, what is he doing? There's no reason to invest in this guy now. Just like how you don't want to invest in the Big Show or you don't want to invest in Kane. The same exact reasons. And as long as these three wrestlers, Kane, Big Show, and Mark Henry, are allowed to run roughshod over WWE matches and steal perfect storyline time from perfectly good wrestlers that should be there. Like, I'm not saying that the Big Show and Kane and Mark Henry haven't made contributions, but it's just so tough to watch Monday Night Raw when they're constantly on television when nobody cares what they do. You know what I mean, right? Like, it's just bad the way that they're doing it now. But to say one more positive before I go on to the negatives, more negatives, is I'm liking what Jericho and AJ Styles are doing here in the WWE. Because Chris Jericho, every time he comes back now, like ever since like 2013 beyond, has become this sort of catchphrasing, spewing, no fun. Like, he's like your creepy uncle that just comes over and just tells like weird jokes. Like, and what AJ Styles is doing is he's making Chris Jericho a more serious character. He's making him less catchphrasy and less corny. Because it's really cool that they're doing that. It's not like having The Rock come over and having him do like catchphrases, which honestly I don't mind because he's The Rock. He's allowed to do that. But we know Chris Jericho can do like a serious angle, and whenever he does serious, he does really well at it. So I like that. One thing I noticed about this week's show, and ever since I watched Raw, it was on Monday, and today's Wednesday. Ever since that Monday Night Raw, I've been seeing reports of Wade Barrett wanting to retire after his contract expires from the WWE. And that shows you how bad the storyline of the League of Nations is. The League of Nations needs to end now. Because no one cares about what they do, or it's kind of like a Kane, Big Show, and Mark Henry in a tag team. And I'm looking at the TV screen, I see Sheamus walking out, and he just has this disinterested look on his face. Like, you could tell by the look on their faces and how they're doing their matches as the League of Nations that they don't give a crap about what they're getting. They need to end this storyline now before it becomes one of the worst storylines in history. And one of the worst stables in history, which it kind of already is. And Wade Barrett is leaving because of constant injuries and because WWE doesn't know what to do with him. They had a perfect opportunity to set up Barrett with a Nexus and give him so many titles that I couldn't even count them on one finger. Or one hand. But they tried to do the Nexus again with the Core, which was, it didn't get over at all. They give him like a brawler gimmick, which only lasted like a few weeks. And then they do the Bad News Barrett gimmick, which was probably the best part of his whole career, along with the Nexus. But then they make him King of the Ring, which is probably the stupidest thing to do at this time. And they make him such an emotionless king. Like, with him, the kingship meant nothing. Because he was losing to R-Truth on Superstars every single week. That's why King of the Ring should go to guys who they can actually build up. Who they're actually pushing. Not guys who are going to be jobbing on Superstars the next week. That's my issue with King of the Ring. And Sheamus and Del Rio should also get out of WWE. Because they bore me to high heaven. I do not like Sheamus and Del Rio at all. They're both boring on the mic. They're boring in the ring. I don't give a crap what they do. I'm sorry if I sound ranty here, but this subject just really pisses me off. Like, these guys are getting... Sheamus and Del Rio are getting so much TV time, yet guys like Wade Barrett, who can actually carry something, are shoved to the wayside. It's really annoying. And WWE, like I said last week, they like to push like big and strong guys. Yet they don't like to push guys like Daniel Bryan, who can actually carry a match, who can actually cut promos, like CM Punk. They should have treated CM Punk better. Because if he was hurt, they should have let him spend time out of the ring and have him recover, and have him learn, and have him do other stuff. That's why people want to leave. It's because no one cares anymore. They don't push these guys who can actually work, who could cut promos, and who could do all that. And instead they push guys who they think are muscular, and they don't do crap in the ring. I'm sorry if I sound like really ranty here, but this genuinely pisses me off. And they push guys with no charisma like Roman Reigns or Sheamus or Del Rio, who bore the crap out of the crowd. And the heat that Del Rio and Sheamus and Roman Reigns are getting, they're not getting like heat, like heel heat, like natural heel heat, like you hate these people because they're on TV and they're meant to hate them. And it's because it's like an X-Pac heat. No one wants to see them. Not even the people who like the heels. Like in London, they're still booing Roman Reigns. Like in freaking London, they're still booing Del Rio. At least they should be, because no one cares about Del Rio. At least not me. You don't see any Del Rio marks on television. Same thing with Roman Reigns marks, unless they're women and children. Just like John Cena. Okay, I'll just end my rant. That was probably the most emotional that I got about Raw so far. Because this was a terrible, terrible Raw. It was filler, it was boring, and the ending was crap. The ending was supposed to set up like a, I don't know, 4-man tag team match on the pay-per-view, FastLane, and I am not interested in this match at all. It has Kane, it has Braun Strowman, who I don't really care about at all. It's, ugh. Set up the matches that we care about at the end of the show. That's why it's called a go-home show. Do the Chris Jericho and AJ Styles thing at the end of the show if you have to. Because that's what should end the show. Because it's entertaining. It's something that we want to watch. Not this Kane and Big Show bullcrap that no one cares about. They should put that match on the pre-show and not Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio. Because Kalisto and Alberto Del Rio, even though the feud has weird booking with Kalisto getting beaten down like 5 minutes, they're still somewhat good matches because Kalisto, even though he looks like Rey Mysterio, still is a good wrestler. And if he's good at English and he's good at promos, he should be doing promo work. You know, if he turns heel, which I doubt, because he's probably going to sell merchandise to a bunch of kids, but you see my point here. Alright, I guess I'm going to end this review before I flip. See you guys later. Cornucopia of Craziness out.